Conference play is here, and it kicks off with a top 10 nationally televised clash between the Vandals and the Grizz. Welcome to This Week in Big Sky Football. Hello and welcome to This Week in Big Sky Football. I'm your host, Megan Robinson. For the sixth straight week, there'll be a top 25 matchup featuring the Big Sky. This time, it's an intra-conference collision as fifth-ranked Montana hosts eighth-ranked Idaho on ESPN2. It's the battle for the Little Brown Stein and our game of the week. For more on this matchup, let's bring in head coach of the Grizz, Bobby Howe. Coach, 3-0 entering conference play. What's been working for the Grizzlies?
It's interesting. We're 3-0. We can't be any better, but I think we have a lot of improving to do. And so I think the thing that's been working best for us, Meg, is the fact that we're working hard every week to get better. And I think the spirit of that kind of permeates our team, and it's been good results on Saturday because of that.
If you had to pinpoint one or two areas where you want your team to show improvement this week, what would those be?
Well, it's all about execution. We need to play better in all three phases, offense, defense, and special teams. A lot of refinement. We have a lot of inexperience on our team. Guys just need to get playing time, get experience, get better at playing the game of football. I think the effort level, the focus, all those things have been great. So just get better as individuals, and collectively we'll be better as a team.
You mentioned the inexperience. No starters returned to your defense from last season. However, there have been a handful of guys who have forced turnovers and made plays. What's impressed you the most about that group?
Well, certainly not turning the ball over and then taking it away on defense really helps the outcome of the game. It's a relevant statistic. A lot of statistics aren't relevant. That one certainly is. What sticks out for me on our defense is our tackling is generally pretty good. They chase the ball really hard. Our defense is fairly multiple, and they seem to be handling the volume of play calls. So we've got smart guys that play hard, that tackle pretty well. It usually adds up to pretty good defense.
Coach, last time we talked was before that North Dakota game. Since then, Ayat has led the Grizz to a comeback win over a ranked North Dakota team, has had back-to-back 300-yard games. How much growth have you seen from him in the last 2 weeks?
I think Kaylee, like all players, the more, and I just mentioned it with our defense, the more they play, the better they get as football players. And so he's got 9 starts under his belt now. I think he improves almost weekly. We're certainly hoping that's the case again this week, but he's played better and better. He's seeing the field. He has a good feel for the game. My hope is that will increase, throughout the season. And by the end of the season, he'll be playing just terrific football. He's not been bad so far, certainly.
Looking ahead to this Saturday, another big matchup against 8th-ranked Idaho as you host the Vandals. They're led by Joshua Wood. He ranks 3rd in rushing and 4th in total offense in the Big Sky. What will be the key to containing him on Saturday?
Well, we've got to be able to keep up with him. He's got good speed. He's got the ability to have a really nice feel for things when he's back to pass. He does a good job moving the chains, both with his arm and with his feet, and they have the ability to stay on the field. So, I think keeping him corralled up, not letting him move the chains by running the ball. And then, he's got good top end speed. We've watched him go out and go all the way out the gate on people and score touchdowns on long runs. So he's going to be a handful. I hope we're up for it. We get to find out if we're fast enough on the defensive side on Saturday night.
We talked about Ayat. He is the conference's leader in total offense. You also have the conference's leading
I didn't know that.
Surprise.
That's how much I look at the statistics. Anyway, I interrupted you. Go ahead.
No, you're fine. Well, now you know that Ayat is the conference leader in total offense. Eli Gilman, of course, the conference leading rusher. How does having your defense go against those two players every week prepare them for a team and an offense led by Joshua Wood?
Well, one of the reasons I think our defense has been so salty this early season with no returning starters is the fact that that is exactly what they see in spring ball and fall camp. And they've had to play against a high level of competition. And I think that to a degree, iron sharpens iron, and that's happened for our defense.
This game, of course, will be nationally televised on ESPN2. What does this exposure do not just for Montana, but the Big Sky Conference as a whole?
Being that one of the national games is huge for our conference. It's huge for our city and our university, and it's big off obviously for our football program. You know, just the national exposure to show what our place is, what the Big Sky Conference has to offer. It'll be a great scene in our stadium Saturday night, and hope those people on the East Coast have a cup of coffee so they can stay up and watch it.
After this, hear from Vandals head coach Thomas Ford. Welcome back to This Week in Big Sky Football. I'm Megan Robinson. It's been a strong debut for Idaho first-year head coach Thomas Ford. His Vandals are ranked 8th in the FCS after a tough non-conference schedule. They open their Big Sky play this week as they head to Missoula for a top 10 matchup with the Grizz that will be nationally televised on ESPN2. Coach Ford joins me now. Coach, you just wrapped up a tough non-conference slate with 2 close games against FBS opponents. What did the first 4 weeks of the season teach you about your team?
I think the first 4 weeks really showed me that my team is resilient. They're going to go fight and play till the very last down, no matter what game we're in. We obviously got a chance to win 2 of them, and then the 2 losses. Even though they kicked last second field goals, our offense went out there, tried our circus play with every thought that we're still going to win the football game. So I definitely think that we've got a group that's really resilient and willing to fight till the end.
Aside from the resiliency and belief in each other, what are some of the other strengths of your Vandal football team?
Well, I think we're very physical, especially on our offensive line. That's kind of the unit that I really believe sets the tone for a lot of what we do. Especially on the offensive end, but certainly just as a team, right? They're tone setters. Those guys are nasty. They want to be in a barroom brawl every chance they can, and they've done a really good job of that. I think that we're a group that plays very hard. Our effort has been very, very good. Not a lot of loafs on either offense, defense, or certainly even special teams. And so I think that physicality and that work ethic, right, that ability to play hard every snap is definitely showing up these first 4 weeks.
One of your guys who has had a great start to the season is, of course, quarterback Joshua Wood. He's been Big Sky co-offensive player of the week. He leads your team in rushing yards. What does he bring to your offense?
He's a guy that I think every defensive coordinator that plays us got to really prepare for. You've got to do some things that are probably a little bit out of the norm in your base scheme, and you got to really, take ownership of making sure that quarterback isn't running the ball. Because again, anytime you have a quarterback that has a threat with his legs, I think it's challenging for defensive coordinators. The other thing he's really brought to the table is just some confidence, right? He's brought a lot of confidence to our offense. When our guys go out there, or they're in the huddle with number 3, they feel calm because he's calm. He's a guy that doesn't get too riled up either way. And I think that confidence and that calmness has really helped our team.
Looking ahead to this week, you are heading to Missoula for a top 10 matchup with Montana. The Grizzlies are 4th in the nation and first in the Big Sky in total offense. How do you slow them down?
It's tough. Those guys, they got some players. I think number 10, that their running back, he has been an absolute savage in these first 3 games of the season. Their receiver number 6, Michael Wortham, he's been really, really good and very explosive with the ball. Their quarterback has been dynamic. He's made some plays with his legs, and so I think it's going to be tough. I think you got to do a great job matching their physicality first and foremost. They're a physical front, big fellas up front, tight ends. I think they got one of their tight ends like 270 pounds. So again, I think you've got to match their physicality. I think you've got to limit your mistakes, and you've got to tackle well. I think those are 3 things you have to do if you're going to have any luck slowing this offense down.
Washington Grizzlies Stadium has the reputation of being one of the toughest atmospheres to play in all of FCS. How have you shifted your preparation this week in practice to prepare your team for that noise and that environment?
Certainly have the veterans talk to the younger guys, guys that haven't gotten a chance to play in the stadium. It's hard to explain it. But I think our veteran guys have played there, before in 2022 and have some experience with it. So trying to get their perspective and giving some tidbits on how they prepared and what they would do differently now that they've actually played there. And then obviously, you gotta play with some crowd noise at practice. You've got to try to make the environment for our offense as difficult and as loud as possible because that's what they're going to see Saturday.
Big picture, this game will be nationally televised on ESPN2. Why is this national exposure important, not just to Idaho, but the Big Sky Conference as a whole?
Oh, I think anytime the Big Sky's playing on, major network and primetime TV, I think it's huge because not everyone in the country understands how good of the football we're playing is in this league. This league is one of the top Division One leagues, not just FCS leagues, but I think our league could certainly be in the game with a lot of, some of the group of four schools that are out there. And so I think it's really important for people to get eyes on the type of football we're playing out here, and we're certainly really excited to be a part of it. And so we're really looking forward to being on national TV, and again showing what the Vandals got to the not just the regional or just our fans, but the entire nation.
A career night for Jacob Syke earned him Co-Defensive Player of the Week honors. He's here next. Welcome back to This Week in Big Sky Football. I'm Megan Robinson. 7 total tackles, including 2 sacks and 3 TFLs, plus 2 forced fumbles, all in a game's work for UC Davis's Jacob Syke. His career performance earned him the recognition of Co-Defensive Player of the Week. Jacob, career night on Saturday against Southern Utah. 7 total tackles, 2 sacks, 2 forced fumbles. What was working for you in that matchup?
Really, credit goes to my teammates and the coaching staff for putting me in a good spot to make those plays. Having the bye week, we had a lot of time to prepare for our opponent. Rolling into the game, confident in the game plan, confident in my ability to execute the game plan, and I was afforded the opportunities to make plays and capitalized on that.
Talking about making plays, as a defensive lineman, what is a more exciting play for you to make? Forcing a fumble or tallying a sack?
I think forcing a fumble. I remember my head coach at Harvard, he was a big focal point for our program was turning the ball over. And normally the team that wins the turnover margin wins the football game. So if I can make an impact on the game in some capacity, typically forcing a fumble, we'll probably have more of an impact. So that's my go-to.
You mentioned it. You spent your first 4 years of your career at Harvard, transferred to UC Davis for this season. What was it about this program that made you want to be an Aggie?
What Coach Plow and his staff kind of stand for in this school, prioritizing academics and playing high-quality football, is similar to what Harvard also stands for, and the carryover was really a no-brainer for me. For me, I really wanted to enjoy my final year of football. And when I came up here in the winter and got to meet a few of the guys on the team here, it was really a no-brainer for me.
You've only been there 3 months, which in the grand scheme of things is not terribly long. How have you adjusted to the defense and life in Northern California?
Well, Coach Coombs, our defensive coordinator, he's made it really seamless for me, just picking up new calls, new techniques that I really have not been accustomed to playing at Harvard for 4 years, but he spent a lot of extra time with me, making sure I know what I do, and I'm confident with what they're asking me to do when we're on the field. And then being out in California, it's been a lot of fun. My teammates have done a really unbelievable job at making this feel like a second home for me. I'm just thankful for them. I'm thankful for the coaches for affording me the opportunity to come here, and look forward to what the rest of the year kind of holds.
What's been the biggest difference of playing in the Ivy League? Although you haven't started conference play yet, but what you anticipate it being like playing in the Big Sky?
The biggest adjustment is probably the length of the football season within the Big Sky. In the Ivy League, we only play 10 games, and fall camp is really 2.5 weeks. And we've already played 2 months of football here, and we're not even halfway through the season. So I'm proactively trying to take care of my body, making sure I'm good to go for game days and practice. And yeah.
I talked to Coach Plow earlier this season, and he said one of the things he likes about your defense is that you have a lot of depth on that side of the ball. You're talking about the length of this season. How does that depth help you stay fresh as we get deeper and deeper into this long season?
If you've been watching our games, if you look at our D-line alone, we're rotating 8 or 9 dudes throughout the game. And it's really given us the opportunity for when we are out there to play at 100%, give it our all, running the football, be an impact player out there. And I think going forward for us, we're leaning and counting on a lot of new guys and young guys to continue stepping up and filling those roles. But if they keep answering the bell like they have up until this point, come the end of the year, we're going to be firing on all cylinders. We're going to be healthy and we're going to be good to go, and hopefully competing for a Big Sky championship and see what happens in the playoff.
The road to the Big Sky Championship in theory starts this week when you open up conference play against Weber State, 2-1 in non-conference. How do you build on what you've already established in the non-conference portion of the season?
Yeah, it starts with how we prepare and how we practice. We've taken care of business playing Southern Utah and Utah Tech. We like where we're going, especially with a lot of new guys we have on defense. But if we want to go to where we want to go, we got to do that every week. It's got to be consistent. And it starts with myself and the older guys, and I'm confident in the guys we have in the locker room.
After the break, game picks with voice of the Grizzlies, Riley Corcoran. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back to This Week in Big Sky Football. I'm Megan Robinson, joined by Riley Corcoran in his 10th year as the voice of the Grizzlies. Riley, so happy you could be here. You've covered this team for 10 years through the first 3 games of 2025. What stands out to you the most about this Grizzly team?
Oh, Megan, first off, it's great to be with you as always. And for this Grizzly team, there were so many question marks going into the season. And I think when you get 11 new starters on defense and you still have an underclassman at quarterback, I think in a good way, it's been kind of a blank canvas for Montana. And what's impressed me is how quickly they've come together. I think a lot of people from their first 3 games, the one that they focus on is that North Dakota win that Montana had. And to me, that's kind of a microcosm of their first 3 games, to where, yes, it was rocky for maybe the first half of that game, but they stuck with it. They stuck with each other. They found a way in the third quarter, fourth quarter to kind of turn the tide. And we're seeing pieces of that week by week. And I know that Coach Houck has echoed these same sentiments, but this team is going to get better week by week. And we'll see if they're ready for a big test this weekend against Idaho.
Riley, you mentioned the 11 new starters on the defense. Offensively, of course, Michael Wortham has stood out. Eli Gilman, Keali Iayat has been on the rise in recent weeks. But defensively, who are your players to watch?
Oh, there's a couple, Megan. I think that Solomon Tuliaupupu, just a phenomenal story. He's in his 8th year of college football, plays linebacker for Montana, and we saw him make his first impact play against Indiana State. He had the strip sack fumble that led to the Grizzlies' first defensive touchdown in a 20-game span, and he's just an impact player. He was the top linebacker in all of high school back in 2017, but he's been hampered by injuries. Just a phenomenal story, as well as Hunter Peck. That's someone on the defensive line that I'm looking at for Montana. He was the Frontier Conference defensive MVP last year for Carroll College. He's been overlooked his entire career, and he's been an impact player on the defensive line.
Riley, you're also here to pick games. You could keep talking Grizz. I'll save your Grizz Vandals pick for last, as it is our game of the week. First up, Idaho State heads to Greeley to face UNC. The Bears very well could be 4-0 if it weren't for 2 last-minute heartbreaking losses. What do you think this weekend? Do the Bengals get it done, or is it the Bears?
I'm with you. Northern Colorado's been a great story so far, already going over their win total from the last 2 years combined. But I've been high on this Idaho State team as well. Whoever's at quarterback between Jordan Cook as well as Davis Harson, they just have a lot of explosive weapons. I think this was going to be such a close game. Classic offense for Idaho State against defense for Northern Colorado. Give me the Bengals in a 3-point win. I think 24-21 down there in Greeley.
All right, a close one. Before we got on the air, we talked about UC Davis and Weber State coming off back-to-back wins. But you said, I think this one's going to be a shootout. Who do you think prevails in that matchup?
I hope the scoreboard operator's ready to go down there in Davis. A late-night shootout. It'll be fun to watch between what we've seen from Davis so far. Weber State certainly on the rise. I'm going to go with Davis, and I think that there's going to be a ton of points. Let's go 42-31 in this game. I think UC Davis keeps it going behind that freshman phenom, Caden Pinnock.
Finally, our game of the week. It's the battle for the Little Brown Stein as Montana hosts Idaho. Top 10 matchup on ESPN2. Who do you like, Grizz or Vandals?
Oh, this is going to be a great game. It's got all the ingredients, Meg, from the night game, under the lights, Washington Grizzly Stadium, some national TV, everything you could ask for, and all that rivalry aspect of it too. You know that both coaches are going to bring it. So, you know, with what I'm wearing right now, I like what I've seen from the Grizzlies, especially here at home. I think that is going to be the difference, but it will be a close game. I'll go Montana by 3 late in Washington Grizzly Stadium for another thriller.
We'll see. I don't know if Grizz fans want another thriller, Riley, but we will see how that all plays out on Saturday. Thank you so much for being here. If Riley's prediction is true, the battle for the Little Brown Stein is going to become an instant classic. Thanks so much for joining me for another episode of This Week in Big Sky Football. I'm Megan Robinson. I'll see you all next week.